G'day, 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 ladies and gentlemen, and all those in between. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mind, where as a Chapter 1, Season 1 veteran, I'll be bringing you guys the latest and greatest tips, tricks, strategies, and more to winning not only more games, but more crowns in Fortnite Chapter 6. So guys, as always, if you're keen to see us here, run it back for the 2 crowns in a row. Can we do it? Let us see, guys. Make sure you guys do. Hit that like button and you hit that subscribe button. And use creator code SurelyItsButter the next time you're in the item shop. Alright, we're going to be doing the train drop strategy today. Look, I do think that alternating between the train and the hive is going to be some of the best options currently available on this current season of the Fortnite map. Now, guys, additionally, on top of all of that, we will be having the Fort Nightmares update coming out soon. So, we've got quite a few things to go over, but maybe we will save that for another episode. But guys, here we do have it, of course. I'm going to be trying to pretty much get out of here as soon as possible. And we'll go do the old rotate strategy. So for those of you guys who do not know, who aren't already aware of this train strategy, make sure you guys do press those 2 buttons. But short and simple, right? We land down here for one very good reason. Maybe 2, maybe 3, right? You're going to get the guaranteed legendary chest, as well as a potential OXR chest. Alright, there won't be enough slurp barrels to get full health, but if you guys do find some minis, or maybe a big boy, you should be able to get up there quite fine. Alright, now we can pretty much rotate on out now. I always tend to miss some of these barrels here. Now, there will be some car spawns, as well as some of those little, for some reason, I forgot what they've called. The roly-polies. Alright, yes, the roly-polies will be here as well. Now, we have our setup here. I'm going to drop the sweeper because I don't think it's necessary. I think there's going to be always a few things that are necessary. But look, for now, we have 2 options, right? Maybe 3 if you guys want to head down towards Canyon Crossing in the mountain there. Maybe it'll spawn that sweeper shotgun queen. But for me, I like to just try and find my luck here. If we do get the neutralizer threat message, perfect. That is great, but if not, we then jump on down to a geyser and we rotate over to Dystopia City. Right, that is the game plan. That is what you need to do. That is what I do. I notice a lot of luck about it. Now, this Blade Blaster, I'm keen. I think we should use the Blade Blaster. I haven't really given it a fair crack yet, so I do hear that there is some shots around the corner. It's kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that is actually quite insane. I wasn't really expecting I was expecting more of a projectile, you know, and I think sometimes you're going to get these guns or these new items in Fortnite where they're going to have these projectiles, where you're going to notice a bit of a lag there. So you'll shoot, it takes a bit of time. I don't actually think the Blade Blaster is that bad at all. In fact, I'm actually going to consider using this for a little bit this game. This might be the Blade Blaster episode, so guys, make sure you do kick back, you grab some snacks and relax. Alright, we're going to quickly try and meander our way over to this swarmer nest here. Now remember, you guys, if you do not actually look in, like toggle in with that ADS, that aim down sight, you will have a quicker fire rate than if you hold it in. Alright, now holding it in will do some extra damage, which I know a lot of players, myself included, are going to be fans of. For these swarmer nests, I'm also sometimes a fan of just pickaxing them, alright? Mostly to conserve ammunition, and I have just realized we have lost our... we have actually lost our assault rifle there. Alright, so we're going to have to make our way back here. We do have an MK7 as well as a very, very handy drop pod down here. Try and dodge that, of course. Sometimes you cannot dodge them all. Alright, we'll grab this, we'll get that boon, and we want to be mindful and quite cautious about third parties. When you guys are landing at these sorts of POIs, alright, when you guys are going for these queens, you want to be mindful of the fact that other players are going to be trying to go for them as well. So, do bear that in mind, alright, try to find where we lost this gun. Does anyone remember? Someone please let me know down below in the comment section where we dropped that gun. We do have a normal one here though, so we're just going to pick that up. Alright, and we're going for the underside of this queen. Why, guys? Because that is where you're going to get those critical damage. Alright, now we can quickly upgrade to the green there. In hindsight, what I would have liked to do just then is to continue to use the remainder of the magazine clip there on that grey. Alright, because, well, we want to conserve ammo. Like, especially if we're about to be taken off guard here by a third party. We want to get in and out. Now, typically, I like to have a vehicle nearby or a roly-poly marked on the map. We don't have that right now. It's a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. Alright, we're going to hopefully time one of these geysers here to escape, and we'll rotate around to the marketplace. Now, the reason why we're going to go to that marketplace, short and sweet, guys, is because you tend to be able to find a car there. Alright, now, whilst we might not find one in today, you cannot use this time, like whilst you guys are flying up, to see if there's one in the front there, and if not, you should be able to find one down here as well. So, I also think we've just left our A drop pod behind by accident, but that's okay. We'll try this Blade Blaster again. Trying to go for some headshots here. Definitely doing some decent damage there. Of course, you do not need to reload this gun. It seems to be a bit of an energy blaster, which is honestly quite nice. I mean, guys, if we look back to the Star Wars mini-season we had not too long ago, we had a lot more of those plasma blade blasters as well. And the plasma rifles, and for some reason they required ammunition, which I think a lot of players, you know, myself included, were a little bit perplexed about. But whatever the case, guys, we're going to rotate on out here. If you've enjoyed this episode so far, if you're enjoying this series so far, make sure you guys do hit that like button and you hit that subscribe button. Alright, help us reach our goal of 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Right, we're halfway there. You guys are absolutely machines with those two things, so let us see if we can do it. I got hope. I got hope. Alright, now we do have a vault up ahead here. I take that back. We're going to scratch that. It's a little bit on the outskirts of zone, so at this stage of the game, what we're going to be looking for is potentially this one, actually. I want a new car. You know, we need a new car. We need a new vehicle. As you guys can see in the bottom left-hand corner, we've only got 391 health, which means in I believe one magazine of an OXR rifle should be able to blow us up here. So do bear that in mind. It might be quite hit and miss. Now, we do have this Megazord as well, which has just been grabbed. If you guys haven't already seen yesterday's episode, do go check it out. But we did actually, for the very first time, take the helm of the Megazord, which is quite good. Now, here is our S drop pod. I'm trying to find a G-Wagon. Now, going over into this rainbow field around the corner is going to be another great way to get some cars. Someone is flying on down here. I have lost them, though. Immediately, we're going for cover. Alright, this might just be a one where we're going to wait for our overshield to come up here. And when it does, we're going to go to the right side. And then left. Well, you know, the opposite. And we want to do... I like to call this... He's peak switching us now. We could probably follow up here, to be fair. We've got a double pump for the close range mischief. Crouch behind that natural cover there. But we've got no mobility, you know, and I think not having any mobility here is going to be quite damning, and that's what we really, really need. Now, jumping in that car that we've just left up the top side of that hill is probably not going to be the play either. I'm thinking, where is a fuel station? Where is somewhere cars can spawn? Now, there is a little hut around to the back side here, which we could probably make our way over to. But look, it might be a bit of a run in between, though. I'm going to be checking these fields, because this is where you can also find some G-Wagons littered around the place. Alright, it might be time we say goodbye to the Blade Blaster, though, guys. It very, very well might be, because we need some mobility. And look, I tell ya, there is someone jumping on into us right now, and I want that legendary OXR. Not too sure where he's at. I'm going to try and park the car in front of it, so that we can quickly grab the legendary there. And now we've got some mobility, so I would typically prefer shockwaves, but we did have an episode 2 episodes out. Alright, our shockwave hammer's ruining the game. Alright guys, do go check it out if you haven't already seen it. But I think the gist that you guys said in the comment section when I asked you guys what your thoughts on the shockwave hammer, you know, was, was that it can be good, especially for the mid game. Some players, you guys seem a little bit tired in terms of the end game. Some are saying that you can easily shockwave yourself out into the zone to take that damage. Now bear in mind, past couple of episodes I've been saying double damage is a thing. Look, they did actually revert that in a hotfix, so Storm is now currently doing the normal amount of damage. This is why we do not like to go for the wrong button, butter. This is why we do not like to go for the Megazord. Now, some players also... He's actually following us. That is insane. I want to go somewhere... absolutely incredible. Maybe under a bridge or something. And if we can do a little bit of damage to him, that could also really, really help. Now, these bridges will be very handy as well, considering you will be able to... Like, this is invulnerable, right? You won't be able to actually shoot through that bridge. And as we can see, his health is going down, so we just need to wait out this Megazord. Alright, there he goes. Now, he's going to fly on down, and this is where we can take advantage of him. So we're going to just wait for him to jump out of the sky here. We're getting another drop pod. Maybe he's landing somewhere else. Fair play to him. Alright, we do have another flare gun. I want to quickly never eat soggy Whippix. I do spot him. Alright, fair play to him. Alright, we're gonna like rotate on out here, actually. Have a player up and over. Alright, he got a couple of big boys there as well. I just want to be careful that we don't have anyone on top of that hill there. So I want to hide behind the corner here. We've got a mountain up to the left, one to the right. This is a really hairy position for us here, guys. We do not want to be here. Alright, but fortunately, we're going to get enough shields. Alright, we're going to go grab this hammer, and we're going to try and head on out. Now, actually, you know what? I tell you, when life gives you lemonade, you can make many things. One is going to be a inverse lemon. There we go. Let us head on out now. Of course, you will have a bit of a cooldown, around about 20 seconds per charge on the shockwave hammer. Now, given the medallion player is at that vault, I want to go around to the opposite way. I want a car. You know, I think getting a car, guys, getting a vehicle is going to be such a fantastic way to secure that edge for you. And additionally, keeping a mindful eye open for where these natural shields are, like these slurp barrels, like these slurp trucks or fireplaces, as well as geysers as well, guys. The geysers are not only meant for rotation, no, they are also going to be meant for heals. So they will be able to give you 30 shield or health. Whatever comes first, they will most certainly be able to do it for you. Now, that might be what we'll do here. We might actually go and take a geyser over. If we can find actually one of the, like a Flowberry Fizz, that will be good, because the Flowberry Fizzes will be able to increase the total amount of distance you guys travel. So that'll be helpful if we can find it, but it doesn't look like it will be the case. We're going to take this geyser, and we're going to go just check around, like look around the area for not only players, but also for cars as well. So that is the game plan here. We'll see what we can see from up above. Red Bull KTM 125 will be going down there with the crown. And so far, it's not looking good. It is not looking good for us right now. I really want to have the high ground here. So whoever has the mountain is going to be incredibly endowed with some good luck there. There is a roly-poly player here, though, so... see if we can't do a little bit of mischief. Now, he's going to be using his shockwaves to get away there, but we have actually secured a roly-poly for ourselves, which we're going to use. Now, I try to avoid using the roly-polies as much as possible, mostly because, as you guys just saw there, it only takes a couple of hits to be completely shot out of it, which can be quite damning. It can be quite not what you want. You know, I think there's going to be quite a few things about what you want in this game, and being out of position in an area where you don't know how to defend yourself, or maybe you don't have a lot of cover there, you know, it is going to be more often than not quite challenging. So we'll see if we can jump up this hill here. Keeping a low profile as well with this roly-poly is another strategy that I do see being used. My general thoughts on it are sort of a hit and miss, right? I think there's a lot of potential for it, but at the same time, That zone has moved again, so we want to make our way to the marker. We're going to get a nice little, a giant roll up here, guys. But again, if you've enjoyed this episode so far, make sure you guys do hit that like button. And you hit that subscribe button. Alright, we're going to go now, rotating around to the side. Alright, we do have someone jumping, or flying down, should we say. Right, 90 damage isn't going to be the worst right there. That's going to be enough for overshield as well as 50. Like on the normal shield, so that is, or close to it anyway. I feel like that's a solid effort, right? That's going to be a decent effort there. Now the roly-polies do make a sound that players can hear. So we're going to jump out there because old mate, I'm pretty sure he's got the hill. Now we've got 4 other players left, guys, which does mean we have got a ratty lobby. As you can tell by this circle, it is quite small, which means that because there's still 4 other players left, look, we didn't really do our fair part. You know, I think one of the greatest ways to prevent yourself being in this sort of situation here is simply by doing, like, getting a lot of kills as early as possible. Hopefully he doesn't see us here. Fair enough. He's left the hill. Oh no, there he is on top of it. No, I tell ya, it's not going to work, Butter. It's a little bit too far away for the Wrecker Revolver, at least for today. I tell you, sometimes I think they reduce the range on it maybe after week 1 or 2 of the season. So I can guarantee you, drop day, you know, season episode day 1 of season 6. What are we even up to now? Is it season 4? It gets quite crazy. He's all the way in the distance there. It would be a crazy kill if we could get it, but I doubt it. Fortunately, the zone is pulling our way, so we're going to stay up here. We're going to let them fight out in the Thunderdome of a Death Valley down there. And we just need this high ground, guys. That is what we're wanting. Hopefully, this doesn't knock us back down the other way. It does. Fortunately not. Hold up. Try and get our jumps on here. I don't really want to use it again. I feel like it can go really, really hit and miss sometimes, especially considering there's that, what, 20 or so second cooldown? And I think this is one of the reasons why this mountain is not going to be the best bet, is because there's no cover. There is truly no cover here. He's got a mountain wedge behind there. And we've still got 3 other players. So there's one there. Because there's no shots nearby, it likely means that the other 2 are far away. So we know there's one in the car there, which means the 3rd could be down there. So 1, 2, and 3. It's a bit of an educated guess. You know, it definitely is going to be. He's slowly making his way. That was the medallion player as well. We could try and go for the medallion. But right now, we have got to make a choice. I'm going to mark that on the map. Alright, and now that we've got that marked, we will be able to rotate over there with the hammer. Grabbing that medallion, having that ability to scan players nearby. Alright, now we've got a fully recharged shockwave. Ah, fair enough, bro. Look, it's been a rough week, but look, we're going to be getting there, guys, slowly but surely. If you did enjoy that episode, make sure you hit that like button. You hit that subscribe button. And as always, take care, Garnier.